Hello, everybody. This is E. Marcel Pertude. Welcome to another edition of the Sports Inquirer Musings. We're actually doing our first live version. It's not going to be a long episode. We're really testing out the equipment, making sure everything that we have working operates properly. But thank you for listening and watching us now or in our archives. As always, to follow everything that we're doing, head to the mothership, thesportsinquirer.net, premier site for news and notes in the world of sports. You can also go to our social media platforms on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Just look us up under Sports Inquirer or E. Marcel Pertut. And finally, you can go to our other platforms to get your audio and video content wherever you do that. And that's going to be at YouTube, SoundCloud, and much more. YouTube, yeah, SoundCloud, YouTube, Spotify, and wherever you listen and watch your content, just make sure you head over to there and do that. As I mentioned, this is just an outline of kind of what's been going on with the site and what we're going to have over the next few days as we get towards the end of April and into early May. If you've been on the site recently, you've seen a lot of content on Atlanta United, and we were just at the practice today, and we're able to catch up with Tyler Wolf and Saba. So those will be up in the next few days. Maybe one even up later today. By the way, we are recording this on April 30th, 2024, last official day of April. So we will be having that content up. We'll continue to have our items up with Georgia State and Georgia Tech. Some of those teams are heading into the postseason, their spring sports. So we'll be having some items there and just as much more as we progress along. And I said, one of our goals is if you're listening, you're not going to see it, but if you are watching, you can see that we are looking to get to 1,000 subscribers. That's our goal right now, and we want to expand on that. That's the initial goal right now. So make sure that through all of the platforms that I mentioned, that you share, like, subscribe, and everything else going on as well. And if you are on with me live, you should be able to put some comments in if you want to do that. That's awesome too. So I said this is just an introduction into things that are going on. NBA playoffs are in full swing. When I'll do my show tomorrow. I have a further breakdown of everything that's going on. But obviously, you're seeing some of the strong teams emerge. But the biggest theme, I think, from the first round of the NBA playoffs so far, without getting into really deep specifics, and I think it's the first time since 2005 that LeBron James, Steph Curry, and Kevin Durant are not in the second round of the playoffs. And those are three all-timers, future Hall of Famers, top 10, 15, 20 ranked players all time, depending on what you're looking at as far as the best to ever play a game. Multiple championships, MVPs for each of those guys. And the fact that we're really seeing the changing of the guard. And I think it's very symbolic, too, that the Olympics are in 2024. I think this will be the last Olympics, definitely for LeBron. He'll be done. And possibly for Seth Curry and Kevin Durant. I'm not saying that they're retiring from the NBA, but these are guys at the back end of their careers are still very productive. All those guys, you can make cases, have been top 10 players in the NBA, and that's still saying something for their age and the amount of time that they've played in the league. But the fact that you're starting to see, just in the Western Conference alone, with Minnesota, with Anthony Edwards and Karl Anthony Towns having the second best record the third best record technically, the third best record in the Western Conference, and Anthony Edwards emerging as a potential best player in the league, and then SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who will probably get my vote for most valuable player, and Chet Holmgren in that squad in Oklahoma City had the best record in the Western Conference, and you're seeing what they were able to do in sweeping, taking out New Orleans. And then you see Minnesota able to sweep the Minnesota ever able to sweep the Phoenix, which has Kevin Durant on the team. And then Denver, another team that they're a little older though, but they're a team that won the championship last year, but are not the traditional teams that we've seen with Durant, Curry, and LeBron on them. They beat the Lakers. So that's kind of a not necessarily a changing of the guard because they're here as far as championship contender, but just a different franchise in that level. And then even with Dallas and the Clippers, that series is still going on right now. You have Luca, who is right in that conversation with SGA and Anthony Edwards as franchise guys, and that can take the NBA to a next level. So you have all of those guys in there in contention, and even in the Eastern Conference, you have Tatum and Jalen Brown with the Celtics. And even though they're both older than you think they are, I was talking to somebody recently. Jalen Brown, we're based in Atlanta, Georgia. If this is your first time listening or watching us, and he played at Wheeler High School in Cobb County, which is just north of Atlanta. And obviously, I live in the Wheeler area and very familiar with the program. And I was like, okay, Jalen's like only like 24, 25. He's actually 27. He's a little, and he's not old in life or even in the NBA, but still, a guy that's part of, and then Jason Tatum is another guy who has stepped up and put himself in the MVP conversation. But that's a squad that is, and it's the Celtics. So I mean, they're a legendary franchise, but they're kind of a new wave too. I know they've been to the finals before, and with this current kind of with Tatum and Brown, but they're a team that has made their presence felt. So I'm just saying, you're starting to see these different players emerge, and those two, especially LeBron and Steph Curry, are faces of the league. Both those guys, in their respective ways, have changed the face and composition of the league, and there'll be a lot more time to break that down in the future. But part of that has been them playing advanced rounds of the postseason. And the fact that we're not going to see them in the second round is very surprising. So that's been very intriguing to see all of that going down. NHL playoffs, I'm a New York Rangers fan. They swept Washington, so that's good. So they're progressing and doing their thing. So we'll have some analysis of that as well. And that's it. Just keep following our site and keep looking at what we're doing. Like I said, we really appreciate it if you like, subscribe, share the stuff that you see on here. That'd be greatly appreciated. And if there's some topics that you want me to talk about that I haven't delved into, there's still auto racing, there's golf, there's Champions League, which I'm about to watch right now with Bayern Munich facing Real Madrid in a little bit later today on the 30th. And then we have Dortmund and Paris Saint-Germain on May 1st. I'll be watching that match as well. So a lot going on in the world of sports. As I said, if you want us to talk about those topics or elaborate more on them, please do. But as I said, this is just an introduction to, this edition of Sports Inquirer Musings. We're doing a live version. So we're testing out some things, making sure that everything is functional. And it's actually looking pretty good. So thank you for listening and watching this latest edition of the Sports Inquirer Musings. And we'll talk about NFL draft too. Yes, being in Atlanta, some strong opinions on Michael Penix Jr. being drafted by the Falcons. Falcons being Falcons. You sign Kirk Cousins to the multiple year deal, quarterback, 180 plus million, 100 million guaranteed, really. And you use all of your financial resources for that. So then when you do that, you figure, okay, our best asset to improve the defense, or if you want to improve the offense even more at an immediate level, is that eighth pick in the draft. And you use it to draft Michael Penix Jr. And there's so many layers to it. And there are no winners in it, really, because Penix doesn't win because, he's going to want to, he's not getting on the field for 2 years at least. And he's an older quarterback. He's 24, older drafted quarterback, dealt with a lot of injuries in college. You want to get to your second contract, and with that, you need to play. That's why you saw, and the team wants to make an evaluation if you're worthy of that pick. And that's why you saw Jordan Love start this year. Obviously, the Aaron Rodgers time had come in, it ended in Green Bay for both parties involved, but you wanted Love to play so you can get 2 full years of playing before you have to exercise that 5th-year option on the player and then possibly sign to a long-term deal. With the Falcons, by the time you get to that decision time, if all works out well with Kirk Cousins, you would hope Kirk Cousins sees 3, 4 years on the field, then you got to make a decision on Penix, and you're not going to see him on the field much. So Penix, it hurts him because he's not going to be able to get on the field and show his value to earn that big contract with the Falcons or another team. And then Cousins, it doesn't work out for him because, and yes, I know he signed 100. He's made a lot of money, and I don't necessarily believe in the apologies or needing to ask his permission to draft a quarterback. The NFL franchise, they can do whatever they want. But it is odd that he's come here. We go to Atlanta United matches, we cover them. He literally did the golden spike a few, like the last home game, which was 2 weeks ago, I think against Cincinnati. So he was in the middle of that. He's been going around town making public appearances, talking about the Falcons. I think he was at a Hawks game as well, or a Braves game. I saw him. So he's really ingratiated himself in the Atlanta community as far as a new quarterback, new face of the franchise, and then you draft a quarterback. It just doesn't make logical sense. I think that Penix is a good quarterback and Cousins is a good quarterback. It's just that there's not logic behind it, because if you sign Cousins like they did, you want to use the draft picks to improve the defense, or maybe get an offensive lineman. And yes, I know in the back end of the draft days 2 or 3, rounds 2 on, they drafted a lot of defensive players, the Falcons, and that's nice. But it would have been nice to get an impact defensive player in the top half of the draft. So that would have been a logical choice for them, just to use that resource. Or if you didn't see anyone at 8 that you liked, you can drop down and get another pick or two. Or if you wanted to go another route, use that money that you spent on Kirk Cousins, turns out to be 180 million, but I mean it's not 180 million dollars every year. The point is, whatever the resources you do, you can get with the money you signed with Kirk Cousins, probably 1 or 2 defensive starters on, and they need help on every level. Defensive line, linebackers, cornerback. You could use it on that. You can sign some backups, some veteran reserves, because you can never have enough depth, especially on the lines, defensive and offensive lines. So you could have done that. And most importantly, you would have had a rookie quarterback on a rookie deal, where it gives you so much flexibility over those first few years of playing a rookie quarterback before they have to sign that second contract, and you can use those finances and assets in another way. And the Falcons did not take advantage of that, of having the ability to either have a quarterback on a rookie deal and then use that extra money to improve other parts of the team, or having a veteran quarterback and you know that position is solidified. You don't have to search for a quarterback, and then using those draft picks and maybe some other assets to help the team in other ways. So all of that is the logic did not make sense at all with the Falcons. So that was very confusing. But we'll look at the rest of the first round and when the next editions of the Musings or Sports Inquirer podcast and see how the other teams did. Now we'll end this show. Thanks for listening and watching us here in the latest edition of Sports Inquirer Musings. As always, you can follow us on our social media platforms on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter under Sports Inquirer, or my name, eMarcel2. You can also go to the mothership, to sportsinquirer.net. And finally, make sure you like and subscribe and follow and share our contents on other platforms that we're on, such as YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, and much more. Thanks for watching, listening once again. Until next time, good fight, good night, and be safe.